getting Mark Fogel out was critical, and the Russians were very, very helpful in that effort and very accommodating. And I think that's maybe a sign about how that working relationship between President Trump and President Putin will be in the future, and what that may portend for the world at large, for conflict and so forth. I think they had a great friendship, and I think now it's going to continue, and it's a really good thing for the world.
Mr. President, your predecessor left you almost $4 billion in unused aid for Ukraine. Are you going to use those money? Are you going to send weapons to Ukraine?
Should have had this gentleman out a long time ago. You know, we did it in 2.5 weeks. He had 4 years to do it. He should have had Mark out a lot earlier. It's a shame. It's a shame.
It was very...
Should have never had the war to start off with. Should have never had, that war would have never happened if I was president. But he should have had him back 3.5 years ago. So it was too bad, but he didn't do it. But we did it. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Come on.
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, February the 12th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And the big story for today is the release of Mark Fogel, who is now back in the United States. He was serving, I believe, a 14-year sentence in Russia. He was on his third year of a 14-year sentence. He was a U.S. embassy employee in Moscow, but he was traveling in 2021 to Russia, and he was entering via Sheremetyevo Airport, and the authorities, they found marijuana or cannabis in his bags, and he claims that this was medical marijuana prescribed by doctors, but for Russia and for Russian law, this is a big no-no, and they arrested him, sentenced him to 14 years. He was on his third plus year. And Trump negotiated his release. Actually, his man, this guy seems like he's the Harvey Keitel of Pulp Fiction, Witkoff. He was Trump's guy that negotiated the ceasefire in Gaza, the ceasefire that is unraveling, but it was Witkoff that negotiated that. And he was in Russia as well. And there was a lot of speculation yesterday about what Witkoff was up to. Why was the U.S. plane carrying Witkoff in Russia? And the U.S. ambassador to Russia was actually summoned to the foreign ministry. So there was a lot of buzz on the interwebs trying to figure out what is going on. And some reports say that Witkoff met with Kremlin authorities for 3.5 hours. And then we learned that it was to negotiate the release of Mark Fogel, or to finalize Fogel's release. So big news, very big news indeed. Trump met Fogel. Is it Fogel or Fogel? I'm not sure, but Fogel, let's say Fogel. Trump met with him in the White House, and he was speaking with the media. And Trump said that the negotiations between the United States and Russia were very, very fair, and Putin treated the United States very nicely in the negotiations. It was a very fair, very smooth and nice negotiation process. And Trump basically, he thanked Putin and Russia for the release of Fogel. So there you have it. A very big event, because I'll tell you why it's a big event. It shows that that the U.S. and Russia can talk to each other and are talking to each other. No doubt that this process, this negotiation, was started weeks in advance, maybe even before the January 20th inauguration, that they were starting to negotiate the release of not only Fogel, but I believe you have 9 American citizens who are currently in Russia, being held in Russia. But it shows that there were discussions between Russia and the United States, that they are in talks, that they are discussing things. And I think it's important because they're not only just focusing on Ukraine. In this instance, they're focusing on the release of people. So it's important. It's very important. And I think it's an important narrative shift as well, because we're moving away from the Biden era of Putin evil, Putin bad, Russia bad, to it was a fair and nice and smooth negotiation process, and thank you, Russia. You see what's going on here? You see what's going on? Everything is being set for a possible deal, and maybe even a type of rapprochement. I'm not saying that you're going to have the U.S. and Russia being best buddies and allies, but they don't have to be enemies, right? They don't have to be enemies, and they can talk to each other. And they have to talk to each other because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that needs to be discussed. But there is a narrative shift, and it's coming from Trump, the President of the United States, and it's coming from the White House. Russia is fair. They treated us nicely. Thank you. This is stuff that you would never hear from Bidenopolis, ever. Now you have Trump saying that we were treated very nicely by Russia. That's a direct quote. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually. I hope that's the beginning of a relationship where we can end that war and millions of people can stop being killed, Trump told journalists at the White House. Asked whether Washington had given Moscow anything in return, Trump paused briefly before responding, "Not much. No, they were very nice. The deal was very reasonable, not like deals you've seen over the years. They were very fair," Trump stated, reiterating his hope that the move would help pave the way for ending the Ukraine conflict. Yeah, things are being set up for negotiations, for a talk, and for a possible deal. But even if there isn't a deal, even if they can't get to a deal, things are being set up so that Russia is not going to be the enemy. At least that's how I'm seeing it. I don't know. When you have the President of the United States finally saying something good about Russia, saying that they're nice, that's a big change, man. That's a huge change. They're nice. They treated us nicely. This is massive, man. It's a massive change. So, big news. Very, very big news from yesterday. And The Guardian, they had an interview with the Green Goblin, a big interview with the Green Goblin. And Elensky, he told The Guardian that he's ready for a land swap with Russia. He said that he's ready to trade KURSK for territories that Russia holds. He really is a comedian. Elensky really is a comedian. He really is. That's what he told The Guardian. Elensky, Europe cannot guarantee Ukraine's security without America. Exclusive in extended interview with The Guardian, Ukraine's president says he will offer U.S. firms lucrative reconstruction contracts to try to get Trump on side. And then Elensky said, "We will swap one territory for another. We will swap one territory for another." For which Maria Zakharova, she replied, in the KURSK region, The neo-Nazis operating there are waiting for land without any exchange, approximately 1 meter by 2 meters and 1.5 meters deep. Zelenskyy makes such statements to hide the true scale of the catastrophe of the Ukrainian armed forces in this direction. Yeah, it's all lies, man. All smoke and mirrors from Elensky. All smoke and mirrors. He's not saying what the real situation is like in Kursk. And they launched these big attacks and these big offensives in Kursk, which turn into massive debacles. But he'll never say that. It's all part of the smoke and mirrors, the misdirection. He wants to show that Ukraine is doing something in Kursk as he sacrifices his own military, his own men, resources, equipment. It all gets sacrificed so he can keep up this fiction that Ukraine actually has something to bargain with in negotiations with Russia, that they're actually able to offer Kursk for something, which is nonsense, which is absolute nonsense. When Russia's ready to expel Ukraine from Kursk, they're going to expel Ukraine from Kursk. It's that simple. Right now, for the Russian military, they've got the Ukraine military and NATO sending men and resources into Kursk, and the Russians are annihilating them, and they don't have to go or do anything. That's how the Russians see it. But for Elensky, he's trying to pull a fast one. That's right. I will give Kursk if Russia gives this. That's what he's telling The Guardian, and The Guardian believes him. The Guardian actually believes this stuff. It seems like the entire UK government believes this fiction, that Elensky has some cards to play. He doesn't. He has no cards to play. The Ukraine defense minister, Umerov, I believe he's at the Germany contact group meeting, and Pete Hegseth is there as well. And Umerov said that Ukraine is also ready to deal and negotiate. But for the defense ministry, they said, we'll talk to Russia, but what we want is we want money and weapons. That is what he said. We want money and weapons. Ukraine is ready for negotiations to end the war, but a fair and lasting peace is possible only when Ukraine is strong on the battlefield. So that's his ask. We'll negotiate, but you have to give us weapons. Mr. Defense Minister Pete Hegseth. Weapons and money. That's what it always comes down to. Weapons and money. From the Defense Minister of Ukraine. Did you guys catch the Tucker Carlson podcast with Colonel Daniel Davis, where they talked about the weapons that were sent to Ukraine and how 50%, I believe Tucker said 50%, according to his sources, have gone missing? They've gone missing. They've actually ended up in the hands of who knows, cartels and whatever. That's what Tucker Carlson said. And you know that the Trump White House follows Tucker Carlson and listens to Tucker Carlson, and they meet with Tucker Carlson. So when he says in a podcast that X percentage of weapons that we've given to Ukraine have gone missing and are probably in the hands of cartels and floating around in the black market, you know that the Trump White House is going to listen to that, and they're not going to be happy. No, they are not. So Pete Hegseth was or is in Germany. I believe he's in Germany today, and then he goes to Brussels to meet with the NATO defense ministers. But Pete Hegseth was asked by reporters about Project Ukraine. Asked whether Washington would consider sending troops to Ukraine to track weapons shipments, the Pentagon chief was clear. We're not sending U.S. troops to Ukraine. That is what he said. We are not sending U.S. troops to Ukraine. I mean, his answer was quick. His answer was quick. He wasted no time in answering that question. But an interesting way for the reporters to phrase it, huh? Are you going to send U.S. troops to track weapons shipments? Now we need U.S. boots on the ground to track the weapons shipments, according to the Collective West media. That's something, huh? That's something. They make it seem as if there's a bunch of weapons, billions and billions, $100 billion worth of weapons that are in Ukraine somewhere. They're somewhere in Ukraine, but we just don't know where they are. So we need U.S. boots on the ground to track down those weapons. It's like $100 billion worth of weapons in some warehouse, some warehouse in some village in Ukraine. They got shipped to the wrong address. They got shipped to the wrong address, man. Yeah, we better get the U.S. military there to find these weapons. Hey, you see, 100 billion weapons. You see, they were in this village, Mr. Trump. What can I say? The post office of Ukraine, not very good. UPS not doing a good job. It's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, the questions that they ask, the reporters. Hegseth also said during the mini press conference, I guess you could call it, when he was taking questions from reporters, he also said that that Europe has to start taking care of itself when it comes to defense. And Trump expects 5% in NATO spending. 5%. He said most of the countries in Europe are maybe at 2%. Maybe at 2%. And he said the president expects 5% of GDP going to NATO and going to defense spending. So that's Hegseth. And things are not getting any better for Elensky, because Trump posted on Truth Social that the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was going to be sent to Ukraine. I am sending Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, to Ukraine to meet President Zelenskyy. This war must and will end soon. Too much death and destruction. The U.S. has spent billions of dollars globally with little to show. When America is strong, the world is at peace. Yeah, you don't send your Treasury Secretary to end the war. No, that's not what you send your Secretary of Treasury to Ukraine for. You send them to Ukraine in order to shut down the operations. That's what you send them there for. That's what you send a controller, a finance guy. When you send a finance guy to go to a business to find out where all the money went, that means that your business is about to be shut down by investors. Yeah. Yep. That's right. This is not about, well, it is about stopping the war, I guess. I guess Trump is not lying there when he says it's about stopping the war, but I think it's not in the way that many people think it is. Yeah, Bessent's going to go there and he's going to say, where's the money? Where's all the money? Where did it go? Where did it go? I've got here 300 billion or 350 billion if you go off of Trump's interview with Fox News' Brett Baer. He said 300 or 350 billion. That's what we're in for. He's going to say 350 billion, Mr. Elensky. Let's see the books. Let's open up the books. Podolyak, you got the books? You got the books with all this money? Where's this money, Podolyak? Mr. Bessent, I don't know. We get money. It goes here. It goes there. You know how it is. Yeah, this is big, big problems for Ukraine. Very big problems. I know where there's 300 billion of Russia's money. I know where there is 300 billion of Russia's money, but Russia's not going to like it. Russia's not going to like it. The EU's definitely not going to like it. But there are some frozen assets sitting at Euroclear. Not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. But yeah, Bessent in Kiev to figure out where has all the money gone. Where has it gone? And I was watching Alexander's video yesterday, and Alexander made a really interesting point. A very good point. A week ago, Trump was talking about compensation for rare earth minerals, but he was saying we want Ukraine's rare earth minerals for future security guarantees, future money, future weapons. That's what he was saying last week. Yesterday, the narrative has changed. The narrative has completely changed. And now what you're getting from Trump and from his administration is that we want rare earth minerals for the money that we've already spent, not for future security guarantees. This is important. He's not saying we want rare earth minerals for the future. He's saying we want rare earth minerals. We want compensation. We want money because we're in the hole for $350 billion. He wants the past payments. We've paid you guys. We've invested $350 billion. We need some compensation. We need to get our investment back. And then we'll talk about future security guarantees, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe we're just not going to be interested in investing anymore. I don't know. I don't know, but we will soon find out. I have a feeling that in the next few months, maybe even the next few weeks, this thing is going to wrap up. So the Russian military, they launched, I believe, missile and drone strikes into Kiev, into Sumy, into Poltava, into many cities. They were hitting the gas infrastructure, not good for Ukraine, but they were also hitting storage facilities for weapons, mostly for drones. They were hitting the facilities where drones were being stored. At least 15 ballistic missiles have hit Kiev last night. A lot of images, videos, and photos coming out of these missile strikes. And once again, I have to make the point. Once again, air defenses for Ukraine, nowhere. Nowhere to be found. Notice that the latest missile strikes that we've been seeing over the past couple of days, we're not getting any statements from Elensky or from the Ukraine military with charts and infographics of 20 Russian missiles and we shot down 19 and all of that stuff. They're not saying that anymore. So that happened as well. And yeah, in Ukraine, they're not transiting Russian gas anymore. And they're not getting the Russian gas. When they're not transiting Russian gas, that means they're not able to siphon off the Russian gas and store the Russian gas. And now Russia's hitting their gas storage facilities. Fico, he put out an open letter, wrote an open letter to Elon Musk, and he wants the USAID receipts. He wants information from Musk on all grants and funding from USAID to Slovakian NGOs and journalists who may have used the funds to sabotage Slovakia. Well played, Fico. Well played. He's right. He's absolutely right. He wants to see all the money that got funneled into Slovakia from USAID. But he knows, to be fair, he must know. He must know about all the NGOs in Slovakia, and he must have some idea, a ballpark idea as to how much money these NGOs, these foreign-funded NGOs, have received. But he's sending this open letter. That's why it's an open letter. He's going to make some moves. So he's putting out this open letter. I imagine he's not expecting Musk to actually send him the information. I don't even know if Musk could do that. I doubt he could do that. Why would he do that? But he's putting out this open letter because he needs to set things up for when he shuts down the NGOs, the regime change organizations in Slovakia that have been organizing, according to Fico, that have been organizing protests lately in Slovakia for his removal. So it looks like Fico's going to be making some moves very, very soon. Well played, Robert Fico. Well played. Did you guys catch the, speaking about Musk, did you catch the signing of the executive order from President Trump with Elon Musk there and Musk's little son, who was also there with him in the Oval Office? And this executive order, from what I understand, it tells the government agencies, the government departments, to cooperate with Doge, as Musk is going to start downsizing and streamlining and looking at the employment of all these departments. And it looks like he's going to start cutting costs. And this executive order is telling all of the departments in the U.S. government to cooperate with Doge and with Musk as he does this, as he cuts costs. And I thought it was a fascinating press conference, actually. Signing of executive order, and then they give this mini press conference. I thought it was interesting. Whether you like Trump or hate Trump, or you like Elon Musk or hate Elon Musk, I just think it's interesting that you now have the U.S. leadership, the president, and Elon Musk at Doge, speaking to the media in this way. It's good. It shows transparency, even if you think that they're conning or they're lying or whatever. At least you get to hear it from them. At least you have the president and you have Musk talking directly to the people and telling Americans what they're up to. Whether you buy into it or not, that's a different story. But this is something that you have not had in the White House for a long, long time. So I think it was an interesting press conference, and interesting to listen to Musk and Trump. And they revealed that there's a lot of corruption in the U.S. government. They actually said it. I mean, Trump said there's a lot of corruption. Musk said there's a lot of corruption. I mean, the U.S. government has a lot of corruption. They said it during this press conference. David Sachs put out a post on X saying, to paraphrase Solzhenitsyn, we know that they are stealing. They know that they are stealing. They even know that we know they are stealing, but they are still stealing. Yeah, been caught stealing. That's a Jane's Addiction song, been caught stealing. Yeah, good song. Anyway, J.D. Vance in France for the AI event. This is actually an AI event that was organized by Macron, and I think I read organized by Modi as well. So Macron and Modi organized this event, but Macron didn't even shake Modi's hand. What's up with that, man? Man, Macron. He completely snubbed Modi. Not a good look. But J.D. Vance was at this event. All of the EU elite and the EU leadership was at this AI event in France. And Vance, he spoke, not for long, for about 10, 15 minutes, but he gave a speech at this AI event. And I have to tell you, my impression of Vance's speech was that he just ended up in Europe at this event, and he let them know who's boss. That was the impression that I got from this speech. The European media is making it seem as if Vance is in Europe and he's ready to work with the EU. That's how they framed this speech from Vance, but I saw it differently. I saw it as Vance going to this AI event and telling the Europeans, we're the number one player in AI. We're going to be leading the way in AI. We'll allow you to work with us to a certain extent. But that's it. We're running the show when it comes to artificial intelligence, Europe. That was basically his message. And then he also delivered the message of your Digital Services Act and all of your regulations and trying to censor our tech companies. Knock it off. Yeah. He said, knock it off. We're not going to put up with that. Whatever social media we have, whatever technology we have that wants to operate in the European Union, you're going to let them operate in the European Union and you're not going to F around with them. That was the message that he delivered. And you know what? The EU just took it, man. They just sat there and took it. Absolutely. Absolutely. J.D. Vance warns Europe to go easy on tech regulation in major AI speech. U.S. Vice President pushes for international regulatory regimes that foster creation ahead of the artificial intelligence revolution. And then Ursula posted on X, "Welcome to Europe, VP Vance. Thank you for a good discussion on our shared challenges as allies, from security and stability to the great promise of technology and the critical challenge of non-market overcapacity. Looking forward to continued cooperation with POTUS and you. See you at the Munich Security Conference." Yeah, remember Putin, what he said over a week ago? That the European Union leaders, they may be complaining and whining about Trump, but eventually Trump is going to put them all in order, to sit them down, put everything in order, and tell them who's boss, and they're just going to be wagging their tails and kneeling down before the master, before their master. Putin was right. Putin was absolutely right. Didn't take long either. It took 1 week, and it didn't even need President Trump. All that was needed was Vice President Vance. That's it. Yeah, he completely obliterated the EU's AI dreams, right? The EU was going to be this big AI powerhouse. The UK, Keir Starmer said we're going to be a big AI powerhouse. Vance rolls into Paris, and he says, "No, you're not. No, you're not. Sit down. Sit down, little boys and little girls. We're the powerhouse. Maybe we'll let you in on some of this action. Maybe not. But stop censoring our tech. Stop regulating our tech. Got it?" And Ursula said, "Got it." And that was it. That was it. Amazing stuff. There's this photo on Politico of Vance sitting down with Ursula. You can see Ursula's got her fists clenched. She likes that. She likes to clench her fists when she speaks. You could tell that's when she's nervous. She always does that when she's nervous, right? Yep. Vance, Mr. Vice President, I'm telling you, Mr. Vice President, their economy was in tatters. That's what I was told. The Russian economy is in tatters. I swear to you, it's in tatters. They were using washing machine chips to power up their fighter jets, their tanks, their shovels. You have to believe me, Mr. Vice President. You have to believe me. I'm not going crazy. J.D. Vance is sitting there next to her going, "Oh my God, when are we out of here? When are we out of here? I want to go. I want to go. How much longer do I have to speak to this lady?" Oh boy. What else? What else do we have to talk about? EU gas is more expensive than oil. EU natural gas is now more expensive than oil. Unbelievable stuff from oil price. Europe's oil demand could rise as natural gas soars to 100 a barrel equivalent. European prices are rallying, and with most of Europe now relying on LNG imports for its natural gas supply, it has recently become more efficient for industries to burn oil and coal wherever possible, as they are cheaper feedstocks than gas right now. Way to go, European Union. What does the Green Party of Annalena and Baerbock think about this? What are their thoughts on this reporting from oil price? Incredible stuff, huh? Maybe blowing up Nord Stream was not such a good idea. Maybe blocking the gas transits through Ukraine was not such a good idea, huh? Maybe? Maybe, just maybe, was not such a good idea. I don't know. Maybe. And the Financial Times, Alexander, by the way, found this article on oil price, and he talked about it yesterday, and I'm bringing it up today because it really should be my clown world. This really should be my clown world. This shows how poorly managed and administered the European Union has become. Just a train wreck, a train wreck. But it's crazy. Oil is less than the natural gas. That's not going to be good for business. But the Financial Times is actually reporting that the European Union is so freaked out over this development that instead of, I don't know, maybe opening up Nord Stream, maybe apologizing to the Russians, and maybe begging Putin to please turn on Nord Stream, maybe trying to get gas to transit through Ukraine again, maybe realizing that was a dumb idea. No, they're not going to do any of that. What they're going to do is they're going to put price caps on natural gas, on LNG gas. They're going to put price caps. That's going to work out well. That is going to work out well. And according to the Financial Times, the European Union is getting a lot of pushback with this idea. From LNG, of course. From the people shipping the LNG, they are getting a lot of pushback on this one. Yeah, you know what's going to happen. They start putting price caps on LNG, the European Union. I think those ships are just going to turn around and go somewhere else. Right? That's what I think could happen. Ah, Glini. Yeah, you know. Faristo. Closing down here. So that's the news there. And let's do some clown worlds. And we'll wrap this video up. Let's see Schultz, as he is working on trying to get reelected as chancellor. He's going up against Merz in various debates. And his talking point when he's debating with Merz is that everything bad that has happened as he has been chancellor is because of Putin. That is what Schultz is going with, the pirate Schultz. The German economy is doing badly because of Putin. That's what Schultz is going to go with. Oh, man. Blame it all on the Putin. And finally, we have this clown world. This one's great. This one is great. So we talked about which way do we go? Here we go. Here's the exit. So we talked about remember the big balls story? That was maybe 3 days ago, with the 19-year-old or 18-year-old that was part of the Doge team, and his handle was Big Balls, and CNN and all of the MSNBC, all of the mainstream media, as they were talking about this Big Balls handle, this guy who has the username Big Balls, they were talking about it on their broadcasts, and it was funny. It was funny watching all the journalists talk about Big Balls, the big mainstream media journalist stars talking about Big Balls at Doge. Well, Elon Musk decided to troll them, and in his Twitter bio, he changed his name from Elon Musk to, I can't believe this, man. I really can't believe this. He changed it to Harry Balls. That's what he changed it to Harry Balls. And so CNN completely took the bait. I mean, they completely took the bait, and they did a segment where I forgot her name. I don't even know what her name. I forgot her name. Anyway, she started to talk about Elon Musk at Doge changing his name to Harry Balls, and she actually talked about this on a CNN segment.
Now, the disruptor-in-chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup."
That is CNN, everybody, the most trusted name in news. That's the video. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing in this video update. The link is in the description box down below. See you guys tomorrow. Take care.